Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. Today, we are taking a look at the Galactic Odyssey Collection from Hasbro Selects. We've got a Hasbro Selects pre-order here that has recently arrived, and this is Dominus Criminal Pursuit. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. I've got nothing on that. Also, I have to ask, what is this? I looked up Galactic Odyssey on Transformers Wiki and on Google. There's a book by a guy named Keith Lamar or something called Galactic Odyssey. I don't think that he was writing a Transformers book. So does anybody know what this faction symbol is? I don't know what it is. Nonetheless, this is from Hasbro Selects, and so it comes in the Hasbro Selects brown box packaging, which personally I'm a fan of. You can see here we've got legal mumbo jumbo here. We've got the logo upside down here and nothing on the back. And then we've got a sticker on the front, and then some kind of a faction symbol and some Cybertronian up here, and then the current line name right there. And then, again, Galactic Odyssey Collection. And I know that they have used the name Galactic Odyssey Collection before for the MicroMaster base set that had the space shuttle and some of those platform guys and some of that stuff. So let's just open this up, and right away we're greeted with some instructions, which is nice. This box has actual color printed artwork on the inside, and that's something a little bit new because a lot of these Hasbro Selects boxes don't have that. So here, I'll get this in focus a little bit. You can see that it's kind of a galaxy map that shows Dominus. I guess that's a planet, and then Botropolis is another planet, and then Biosphere and Paradron. And I'm just curious, is there anything that comes up if we do this? I'm looking around now. The stripes disappear. It looks cool when you look through it this way. I wonder if we could do it this way. Can we do that? And I'm still not seeing anything. Nope. I don't think that there's any hidden messages here. If there are hidden messages here and you know about it, please tell me in the comments, because so far I'm not seeing any hidden messages, just a map with these planets. And then over here is Megatron. So I guess these are symbols for different planets. Maybe they're Cybertronian colonies. I know that was something in the IDW comic books a couple years ago when they had all the different colonies of Cybertron, the lost colonies of Cybertron, and that was kind of a big thing. But so here we go. We've got Barricade and Punch/Counterpunch. Not exactly what I would normally consider a Galactic Criminal Pursuit set. This is supposed to be. Wait here, let me. So, Dominus Criminal Pursuit. So, I guess maybe one of them's the criminal and the other is pursuing. But the question is, which is which? Because Barricade is the police car, but he's a Decepticon, and then you've got Punch/Counterpunch, who is a double agent. So did Barricade find out that he's a spy and he's pursuing him, or is Punch pursuing Barricade? I don't know. Or is Barricade the enforcer on planet Dominus? I don't know. And let's see. So I'm looking at the Amazon article for these, and it says Encounter 4 Dominus Criminal Pursuit Punch is a double agent who has been disguising himself as a Decepticon called Counterpunch. When Megatron discovers his treachery, Punch flees and Barricade is sent to hunt him down. He tracks him to the disaster planet Dominus. Well, there we go. Thank you, Amazon, for answering the question, because I didn't know. So I guess that's it. But boy, it kind of sucks that Megatron already knows that Punch and Counterpunch are the same guy. These guys are Amazon exclusives. So, now, that being said, Punch here, let me adjust the lighting because we've got an awful lot of glare off of him, and that just doesn't look too good. So, let's adjust that. All right, so Punch here, yes, he is an exclusive to this set, but this is not a new mold. This is exactly the same mold that was used for Punch and Counterpunch in Power of the Primes. And I never saw that one in stores. You know, I don't think I saw him in stores, and now he is quite expensive. Well, no, the Power of the Primes version. Oh, it was also Amazon exclusive. So the only way that you are ever going to get your hands on this toy is to order him off of Amazon. I guess there haven't been any versions that are available for regular retail. And, you know, for me, that's not a big problem because I get an awful lot of my stuff from Amazon already or from Big Bad Toy Store. So, you know, at this point, ordering online is getting more and more to be the norm rather than the exception. And just a few years ago, it was not that way. So this is Punch, and we can, yeah, you can see that he's got his Autobot face here. There it is, and then figuring out what you want to do with the shoulders with regards to Punch. I seen them back like this a lot, you know, kind of angled back so that it doesn't look quite so much like Counterpunch. I tend to do something a little bit different. You know, I'll kind of, actually, I don't know what I do with these. You know, I struggle because there's not a whole lot of difference between Punch's robot mode and Counterpunch's robot mode, and the variation that you have available to you is here in the shoulders. So yeah, there we go. So I tend to like to pop these out just like that, and that way it gives him a little bit more of a different silhouette and makes him a little bit more distinctive, so that it's not at least quite so obvious what the difference is between the Autobot and the Decepticon. Now, to show you what I'm talking about, when he transforms into Counterpunch, we flip the panel over with the insignia, which doesn't even lay flat, which is kind of disappointing. I really wish it did. And then you tip the helmet over his eyes, and then here we just take the hands and we flip them around. There we go. And it's really just, you know, flipping the hands around, and then we can take these and put them on his shoulders like that. And that's Counterpunch. Now, that being said, he definitely looks different. I mean, he looks completely different until he starts walking away. And then it's like, oh wait, is that Autobot Punch walking backwards for some reason? Oh, I better shoot him. And it's like, wait, no, it's my back just happens to look a lot like this other guy. It's sort of like Power Lord. I recently watched the Toy Galaxies video about Power Lord and how the main character, whatever his last name was, John Lord or something like that, he had a gimmick where he would transform air quotes, transform into Power Lord, and it was really just a thing where the figure would whirl around, and the other guy's face was on the back of his head. The superhero version was on the back of the head, and it was pretty much divided. So he had two faces, two fronts, and no back, and nothing really to disguise the back either. No. Do we have a Power Lord figure? Oh my gosh, let's take a look at that. So here we go. We've got Punch and Counterpunch, and we've got, what was his name? Atom Power. Okay, so Atom Power, and I'm just Atom Power, and then whoa, I'm Power Lord. Oh wait, he has, I think that there was there a gimmick, like a spin action? Okay, wait here. Okay, so, yeah, I don't think that he spins anymore. There's a little button in his navel, and so yeah, here we go, and then there we go. We got him to spin, and now I'm Power Lord. And isn't it funny that both of these guys are orange and blue? So apparently toy makers in the 80s really felt like if you were going to change somebody's identity, you start them out orange, and then you have them whirl around and turn blue, because we got that. We've also got his lady Shea. Okay, so this is Shea, and she also just kind of, oh my gosh, Shea, honey, I hate to see you go, and I just hate to see you go. Oh my god, that's horrifying. Now at least Shea, originally she had like a cape or something. She could, and like a helmet thing that would cover, all of this. But if your superpower is that your skin turns inside out like a Simpsons Halloween special, then I think that there's something wrong with, you need to talk to whoever endowed you with your superpowers. Okay, that is really some Deadpool crap right there. I mean, and look, she went from having feminine physique, not great feminine physique, but feminine physique nonetheless, and there's just nothing there. It's like her flesh comes off. I do not want to see this toy line revisited anytime soon, because I'm pretty sure that it's just a horror show. That's terrible. So, yeah, Power Lords and Counterpunch seem to share a lot of very similar methodology in terms of how they transform from one ego to another. Now, I will say that Counterpunch's face, there's nothing wrong with either mode. I will say that. There's really nothing wrong with either mode. Counterpunch looks good. He looks good in this form, and he does look distinctly Decepticon-y. It's just, there's an awful lot of Autobot on his back. And likewise, when Punch is being an Autobot, and by the way, he's like worse than Superman, because he just tips his hat and puts on red gloves. That is how he turns into a superhero. So, from the back, it's, and here we'll just, wow, that still looks, his back looks an awful lot Decepticon-y. It's just very, very Decepticon-y, which again is why I prefer to do that, or even I do that. Anything. You can. There are options with the shoulders that help. And anything that you can do to change that silhouette will help to give him a more distinctive identity. But there's not a lot. Now let's go ahead and compare him to his original Gen 1 counterpart. This is Punch. And then you, again, tip the hat. But with this one, you have two very different arms. So these arms fold in this way. And then you pull out the Decepticon arms like this. And there we go. And now you have the Decepticon Counterpunch. And I will say that in this mode, he has disguised his Decepticon-ness a little bit more. He's got a different silhouette. He's got different arms. You know, a lot of the Autobot shoulderness has been disguised by car hood. So, and also he came with a different gun. So, you know, now it would have been cool had they done something where the gun transformed from one to the other. Yeah, that would have been cool, even if it was like a flip over thing or something. But nonetheless, we do have two different weapons and two different modes. Punch here has one gun. I'm going to try and get it out of this box. So let's lift up the tray here and push from the back. There we go. And I'm just going to set that aside for now. There we go. So we have a little gun just like that. But it's the same gun. So, you know, hopefully, I feel like Megatron would have to be pretty freaking unobservant to be able not to tell that Punch and Counterpunch were the same guy. Let's just hope that it's sort of like you put on a costume and you try to fool your mom. She's not gonna be fooled. So you avoid people who know your alter ego in all cases, because they're gonna figure it out. That being said, this is a very nice toy. It's well articulated. We've got shoulder joints that move out and up and down. We've got a swivel in the bicep. We've got elbow joints, wrist joints, at least in the sense that it can tip a little bit. But of course, you know, it's going to flip around and show another wrist. And he better not show his other glove colors, because that would tip off his enemies as to his true identity. We have a swivel at the waist, which surprisingly does not play into the transform of the alter ego or the car. Well, it might play into the car transform. I'm trying hard to remember. And then we've got knee joints. He doesn't really have feet in either mode. There's no feet here. There's like suggestions of feet. Like there's this little black trapezoid thing here that sort of tells you where feet would go if he had them, but he doesn't have them. Yeah, there's just no feet. He stands just fine, and honestly, it doesn't hurt the design, but it is something that's noteworthy. Now, as I said, this is the same version. This is the same mold as the Power of the Primes version. It just does not come with power armor, and the colors are a little bit different. The other version had painted wheel covers. They were red. I think it was a little bit of a darker blue, and it was a little more orange than yellow. But it's essentially the same toy. It also came with a Prime character, one of the little Titan Master guy things that was a Prime or something, whatever it was. I can live without that. I would have been happy to have it if I had seen it in a store, but I didn't, and I've got this one. I do kind of feel like the whole gimmick of him having two robot modes is a little bit phoned in. That is my only complaint here. It's I feel like they could have done a little bit more. That being said, it's still a really, really nice figure and a very nice mold. So that is Punch and Counterpunch. We should show his vehicle mode because, hey, he's a transformer. He transforms. That's his deal. So let's go ahead and let's open up the chest here. There we go. And we're going to pull out the center of the car hood. And at the same time, we are going to... Do we flip around the head? Does the head flip around? No, the head doesn't flip around. So we don't have to do that. We do have to put the car hood shoulder pieces up. And then we're also going to open up the legs. And the legs do a lot. The legs do the heavy lifting on the vehicle transform here. So you open this up, and then you have the car door fold out, and then the roof of the car. So we've got like about 25% of the car right here. Which I guess, you know, if you're having 25% of the car in the leg is 25% of the robot. That's fair. And then we can put the knees together. And so, remember before when I was asking if the, or when I was wondering about whether the waist pivoting played into the transform? No, it really does not. You're going to put the chest back down with this center piece in, and then you're going to snap those fenders into place. And then you see how all of that car that came out of the legs is just going to fold up and cover the arms here. But you have to have the arms in the right position. And there's a little notch here. It's hard to see, but there's a little notch there that should snap in. There we go. We got it on that side. And there we think that we got it on that side. Maybe. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Anytime now. There we go. Okay, I think that we got it. So there we go. Snap these things together, and then that goes together like that. And there. All right. And so there you go. With a little finessing, you get him together, and he transforms into a blue version of movie Bumblebee. So he really does look like Bumblebee's Camaro mode. It's actually a very nice car mode. The colors are a little bit cartoony. I would love to have those red rims. I have been tempted to put maybe a racing stripe on the side. I think that would help because it's a lot of blue. There's a whole lot of blue here. I love the windows. The windows look great. And I love that they actually did paint in the tail lights. That also looks great. There's a lot of great details on it. And it's a really, really awesome looking car mode. So that is Punch / Counterpunch. You have to wonder if the Decepticons ever noticed that his vehicle mode was exactly the same as Punch's. I'm just, just throwing out hard questions. It's hard to be a spy in the Transformers world, but that is Punch. You can see how I keep having to kind of futz with it to try and get the panels to line up. They do snap together well, but it is sometimes hard to get them to line up perfectly. Nonetheless, it's an impressive transform. I will also say that it is an impressive conversion into vehicle mode. It really does completely transform and change the identity of the character. much more in vehicle mode than when he's going from punch to counterpunch and back. So that is punch and counterpunch. Let's take a look at Barricade. So we've got Barricade, and he's in here, and then we've also got we're just gonna push from behind and get his little gun there, and then his shoulder guns. Let me set that down. There we go. Almost there. And we'll put this aside. And of course there are instructions, but we don't need those. Barricade is a pretty straight up repaint of Smokescreen. Of course, he's also a repaint of Prowl, but Prowl did not come. Yeah, Prowl I got as part of the 2-pack with Prowl and Ironhide, and he did not come with the shoulder cannons, which I felt like really kind of hurt it, because that's such an iconic part of Prowl's silhouette. There we go. I'm going to adjust the camera because he seems a little bit dark. Or I'm going to adjust the light, rather. There we go. So we'll get some light on this guy. You can see him. So there he is. Now, of course, as a repaint of Smokescreen and Prowl, you know what to expect here. He's got all the articulation that you've come to expect from this series. He's got very posable shoulders. He's got bicep swivels, elbows, wrist swivels, a pivoting waist. He's got hip joints that move out and leg joints that move up. He's got a thigh swivel, a knee swivel, and he's got the War for Cybertron ankle joints, which I've mentioned in other videos. It's something that really helps these characters to be able to get into dynamic poses and have their feet firmly planted on the ground when they're doing it. So, you know, you can do stuff like that and have him look really, really cool. Which I feel like that's a big part of any of these toys. Something that we didn't get with the old toys in the 80s that had virtually no articulation. And, you know, when I was a kid, I used to think, oh, you know, there's no way that they could make a toy that not only transforms into a vehicle and looks realistic, but also is fully posable. And I was wrong, because lo and behold, that's where we are now. And now we demand even more. You know, we've gotten a little bit spoiled because we look at these toys that do so much more in so many ways than the toys that we grew up with, but we always find other stuff to nitpick about. And I do it too. You know, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that that we, you know, it's the law of diminishing returns. We will always find ways to get less satisfied with the same product over time. And you can see that he does look good from all angles. There's some hollowness around the legs that I've never been fond of in this mold, but mostly it's a good mold. It's very well articulated. It looks like the characters that it's supposed to represent, and this is a good version of him. Now, that being said, I have seen better versions of Barricade, and we will talk about that. In fact, let's just go ahead and talk about that right now, because here I have Siege Barricade. And this, of course, is the Cybertronian version of his vehicle mode, where you've got this iridescent indigo, and it looks amazing. I mean, it really, really does look amazing. And then they used it also for the wheels, and that looks amazing. And this is a case where I did not get this version of Prowl because I saw him in the store and he was very, very bland. It was white everywhere with just regular clear, and then the silver painted on the headlights. You know, these aren't translucent lenses. This is just some silver paint to make up headlights, and on the white, it really just failed to pop. It was pretty bland looking, and I just, you know. These toys aren't cheap. Even the deluxe class are like about $25, and I thought, you know, for $25 I'll pass. But this version of Barricade, on the other hand, looks fantastic, and the black and indigo really, really stands out well. And of course, you've got the Siege battle scarring that they put on the pieces. So let me go ahead and transform him so that you can see his vehicle mode. And he's one where you're gonna pull out the legs from the back and you spread the windshield, and then you've got the arms on the underside. And then we pop the panel down. I believe that we popped the panel down. Let me make sure that we pop the panel down, because I don't want to do something that might break them. I always get it confused with the Earthrise mold, because they are very similar. Ah, wait, here. There we go. So we take this little piece out from under the front bumper, and then we fold that down. And then that goes, and see, this is kind of clever. They have this panel going into the body here as his head comes up through. And then we swivel at the waist. And now... And of course, I could have left these guns on his shoulders during the transform. I didn't have to take them off. I very rarely take them off, actually. But yeah, we can stick them back in the little holes there. There we go. And stick that one in the little hole there. So there we have the Cybertron, the Siege version, and he is in his Cybertron mode. Those don't want to stick. I don't know why they don't want to stick there. There we go. So, and you can see that in this version, he's got a lot more detail in his face. So you see that head sculpt, and it definitely has a lot more going on there. Colors are pretty much the same, but it's just more faceted and has more edges and more stuff going on. And then, of course, he has more of that stuff going on in his midsection. And his, other than that, the colors are very, very similar, except for that iridescent indigo plastic that looks so good. And so, I'm trying to make sure that he doesn't fall over. Oh, wait, I think there's things in the feet that I need to do. Ah, there we go. He has heels. He has heels! Heels are important. There we go. Now he'll stand up. So you have a much more detailed face, and then for this version, his face is very smooth. It's almost cartoony. And I have to say that I like the Siege version better. I like the more intricate design. It still looks like the character without looking overly simplistic. And this one, I mean, this is very, very retro cool. And it does look like it stepped right out of the cartoon, even though this character never appeared in the cartoon. But I do think that I like the more detailed face. I just think that it's more interesting. And here's the other thing. I think that all of his clear bits would be better looking if they were that iridescent purple. This just doesn't really stand out. It's just clear. There's no tinting whatsoever. It's not smoked. It's not tinted in any way, and it's just less cool. Now, what they did do, which I really like, is they have this matte black here, and the matte black looks fantastic. So kudos for them giving him the matte black and just doing in general a very, very nice job with this mold. But I do think that I prefer the Siege version just a little bit more. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. We have seen the Siege version in his vehicle mode, but we have not seen the Earthrise version. I guess this counts as Earthrise. So let's take this out of his hands. Let go, Barricade. There we go. And so we're going to pull up the hood, and then there's this panel here, and that just snaps up and snaps right into place. And it snaps nice and tight too. It's very nicely done. And then we have these. And when I got mine, this little piece here was just kind of loose in the box. I found it on the floor after I took everything else out. So be careful, because they are not super tight, and they can disappear on you. And we'll flip in these little heel pieces. And you'll notice that even though the toy is very similar to the Siege version, it does seem to be all new geometry. Or at least mostly new geometry. I don't know how much they might reuse, but certainly it seems like everything here is just different. So we'll collapse the legs. There we go, and there we go. And that makes up the bottom half of the car, the back half of the car. And we'll snap that together. And then we take the arms, bring them out to the sides, rotate the shoulders so that the wheels are aligned, and then we just drop the arms right into the underside of the vehicle, and we close the doors, and there we go. And now we can take the gun. And what's nice is you can, of course, leave these blasters on the fenders right where they were, or you can take them off, and I kind of like pointing them backwards like this. You know, they've got these 5mm studs on the side of his rifle. And so you can have a combined weapon there. You could have them facing forward. There's a lot that you could do with those. And I like that. I like when they make the weapons so that they can interconnect and do different things. That's pretty cool. So you can see his vehicle mode looks great. It really does. The matte black is especially striking in this. It stands out really nicely against the glossy fenders and the front face of the vehicle. I would love it if these clear bits were red or purple. I think that would look really cool. And yes, I know that it wouldn't look like an Earth vehicle, but it also has a giant gun on top of the Street Hawks, and that kind of keeps it looking like an Earth vehicle too. So I'm willing to give them a little bit of latitude for an evil police car. In Pennsylvania, you're not supposed to have window tinting. Like, they only allow you 15 or 20%. I feel like he could be one of the cops that says, yeah, do as I say, not as I do. So that is Barricade in his vehicle mode. It is a good vehicle mode, like all of the other characters that share this mold. It is very well done. The details are nice. It is very solid when you put it together, and you see how this is the light bar that they used. They altered it slightly for Ratchet, giving it a couple little studs on the sides. But other than that, this one is pretty much the same geometry. Now, you'll notice what they did here. Because everything is clear, they painted it red from the underside, and so the top, you still have that translucency, and it looks really, really good. That's something that I kind of wish that they had done with Ratchet, and they didn't. They just kind of painted it red. But yeah, this looks really, really good, and I really like this version of the character. I like this mold, so I am happy with him. I'm just going to say that if I only had one, the Earthrise one or the Siege one, I think that I still prefer the Siege one. That being said, they're both good additions to my collection, and I'm glad that I have both characters. So that's it. That is the, let's see, Galactic Odyssey Collection Dominus Criminal Pursuit. Sometimes I feel like they're just drawing words out of a fishbowl to come up with the names for this stuff, because that's a lot of words and it doesn't really mean much. But that is that set, and it is an Amazon exclusive, and I thought it was Hasbro Selects, so I guess that's why they got to have color on the inside of their box. I don't know, but yeah. So there you go. Punch / Counterpunch and Barricade, two very nicely done figures. They are either one of these guys going to blow your mind? Probably not. But are they worthy additions to an avid collector's collection? Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what this was. Was this like 55, somewhere in that area? Probably for the two. Because, normally the price point for deluxe figures is in the $25 range. So I'm going to guess that they were 40? Oh, okay. Well then, hey, for 40, that's a good value. That is a good value. You are not going to find two deluxe figures for less than $40 in regular retail. So that is very nice, and they're both very well done. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please click the thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, because all that stuff helps us to grow, and we really appreciate it. And of course, if you subscribe, click the notification bell so that you know when we're doing more stuff and you can catch it, because then hopefully you'll like it and then be happier. And that's the goal. I think that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. So, all right, until Until next time, this is Clay. Keep it retro.